Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Golfing Greenkeeper podcast. My name is Steve Smith, and I'm your host, and it's time for another segment of John Deere Golf, Keeper of the Greens. Now, John Deere Golf are all in when it comes to supporting the turf industry, and they are here to help you move your game forward together. Your team's passion keeps the game alive, and that's why John Deere delivers trusted equipment and support you can count on. And my passion about bringing this podcast to you and all the wonderful conversations that I have on here is matched by John Deere's passion for our turf industry in Australia and New Zealand, ladies and gentlemen. John Deere are absolutely all in when it comes to maintaining your golf course. Since 1987, John Deere Golf has been building trust and excellence on golf courses right around the world. Whether you're managing fairways, greens, or anything in between, John Deere is your partner in precision. Their wide range of advanced equipment and dedicated support is designed with your team's passion and professionalism in mind. And that word passion you will hear over and over again when it comes to John Deere. Have you seen their fully electric walk-behind greens mower? It's a bold step towards sustainability without compromising on performance. Plus, there's a brand new electric fairway mower on the horizon, so make sure you stay tuned to me here on the Golfing Greenkeeper podcast. It's going to be fantastic when it comes out, and it is not that far away, ladies and gentlemen. So keep licking your lips because you will soon find out more about it. With dealerships across Australia and New Zealand, John Deere is ready to help you make smarter decisions, reduce costs, and elevate your turf game. From cutting-edge tech to top-tier machines, they've got everything you need to keep your course in perfect condition. Do you need parts, service, or advice? Your local John Deere dealer has you covered. Now, it's easy to find out where your local John Deere dealer is, ladies and gentlemen, for that support that I've talked about and that I keep talking about. And that is to go onto their website at deere.com.au. And on that website, you can find out by typing in your postcode. It'll locate the nearest dealer to where you are. So you just go on the website, deere.com.au, and go to where you want to locate your local dealer. And you just type in your postcode, and it'll come up with who your local dealership is. Easy as that. And as they say, let's move your game forward together. Without further ado, this is episode number 152. And that rhymes. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another great segment of John Deere Golf, Keeper of the Greens, and it takes us around the countryside as we often do, and this time we're going into South Australia, somewhere we don't get a lot of interviews from, but we're going into Adelaide, or just outside. It's into the Adelaide Hills, and I have on the line joining me the Superintendent of Highercombe Golf Club, and that is Bailey Wake. G'day, Bailey. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, Steve. How are you?
Mate, I'm well. Thank you so much for joining me on the podcast here and jumping on for an interview. We're going to talk about your career, I'm going to say young career, I guess, without being rude. And also we're going to put a bit of a spotlight onto Highercombe, somewhere that a lot of people outside the state or the city of Adelaide and the state of South Australia may not know a lot about, mate. So we're going to have a bit of fun and talk about a few things, and interested to hear a bit of your story. And we actually met, didn't we? It was at the Adelaide conference of the ASTMA a few years ago now.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, it was good.
Mate, let's get stuck into things. And I do start with a little bit of fun before we dive deep into your career and Highercombe, mate, if you don't mind. And it's Steve Super 7 for 7 quick fire or long fire answers to some multiple choice and different answers. Mate, are you ready to go?
Yep, ready to go.
All right, let's do it. Now, these are reworked as well, so hopefully if you haven't heard these, they'll be stone cold and we'll get some interesting answers. Number 1, tea or coffee? Do you have a hot beverage of choice, mate? What are your thoughts?
Definitely coffee. I don't know if I could do this job without coffee, to be honest. It's part of my morning routine. Every morning on my way to work, I live only 15 minutes from the golf course, so from my house to I think I take the last sip of my coffee as I drive in the gate of the golf course. So that's every morning, and I'll probably have I'm a coffee lover. I'll probably have one at about 9:30, 10. And I was having one after work, but kind of tried to stop that out, cut that out a little bit because I was drinking too much coffee. But yeah, definitely coffee.
Caffeine keeping you awake through the job, mate.
Yeah.
It's a good pick-me-up and a starter. Certainly lots of people enjoy a good morning coffee. Good stuff, mate. Number 2, stripes or no stripes on fairways. What do you like, and maybe even what do you do at Highercombe?
This is a pretty hard one to answer. I was always stripes. Even as a kid, as a kid, I'd be striping up the front lawn and I'd be out there with the roller and trying to make stripes. But I've kind of gone away from it a little bit.
Okay.
And I don't mind it. I think it depends on what hole, and we have some holes that look better striped up, and some that look better shade cut. But I think with shade cut, I think the grass kind of does the talking a little bit more. I think with stripes you can probably hide a little bit more.
Yep. Very much.
But I think it depends on what hole. But I'm probably more towards a shade cut. But I mean, this time of year we're striping up a fair bit, and a lot of cross cutting, and which the stripes do come up nice. But I'm probably 60-40 towards shade cut.
Okay, that is a very interesting response. But one thing I'll jump in now that I just picked up on your response there is that stripes can hide things. And that's a really interesting way of putting it, because I do know what you mean there from experience, and I will say it, that is one of the things that we did on purpose with stripes when I was a superintendent, because we didn't have fairway watering, so our fairways were exposed essentially to the changes of the seasons, and if it was hot and dry, there would start to be dry patches and things coming to our fairways that we couldn't fight. So we actually enjoyed doing the stripes because it did mask over some of those blemishes, and some of them were pretty big on our course from time to time if we had extended years of dry. It's a really interesting point, mate. I don't think anyone's ever mentioned that before or picked up on it. So I'm glad you did put it that way, that some people do use it for that reason.
Yeah, and I think if you're talking ovals, like I do a bit of work at where I play football at Kersbrook.
Okay.
I did a bit of work helping out in the oval there, and I think if you're talking oval, I think definitely stripes.
Okay. Yep.
But fairways. I'm probably more of a no. But saying that, there's nothing better than stripes as well. So I'm a bit
swinging a little bit on the pendulum, just towards a shade cut, 50-50, mate. Very good answer. Number 3. See how we go. I always change the way I mention this one, but we'll see how it comes out with again if I get the wording right. How do you like your tee markers set up? Do you prefer to have them the full width of the tee cut, or do you have them slightly narrower so that you can move them around the tee more when the markers are moved?
Well, this is one that's a little bit controversial. That's come up recently. So I'm probably once again, depending on what hole.
Okay.
So our par 3 tees are very small, which makes no sense. All our par 3s, our tees are the smallest tees on the course. So it's probably during winter we're probably more not spaced out much, just a bit shorter, just so we can spread the wear and tear. Obviously, you're not getting recovery in winter, but most of them we're pretty much the full width of the tee. Otherwise, a couple meters in. But not more, just depending how the wear and tear is. Really, we're not too strict on that.
Okay, very good, mate. Thank you. Good response. Number 4. What is your favourite grass variety?
That would probably definitely be bent grass, which is what my greens are. Which are they're don't tell me to identify what bent grass they are. They've probably got about 6 different bent grasses in them.
Okay.
Which they've been here for a long time.
Right.
Lot before, so they're very, very old greens. But I just I just love the fact that you can you can cut. You got a turf rider, you can cut down to 3 mil and it still performs and still when it's looked after properly. It's really. But also I mean I do my fairways Kaikuya, and I do obviously Cooch is great, but Kaikuya suits what we do here. I think when Kaikuya is managed properly, and you're cutting 2 to 3 times a week, and you're cutting it 12, 13 mil, and I think Kaikuya managed well, is also a great variety of turf.
Very good, mate. Thank you. Good response as well. Number 5, we move on. Should bunkers be presented perfectly for golf in the same way that we present turf surfaces for golf? What do you think about this one? I'm looking for some interesting responses that I keep getting. So I've worded this one in a specific way. What are your thoughts there?
It's another controversial one here. So I only have 11 bunkers, which is good, but it's still, with the staff I have, it's still tough to manage. It's probably a question that I can't really answer properly, because I can't, we can present bunkers the best we can, but I don't have back-to-back sprinklers, so my green sprinklers are doing a 360, and so our bunkers are quite frequently getting water in them, as well as winter. But yeah, I have the view of they're a hazard, and if you're in there, bad luck, which is a bit controversial. I'm a golfer myself, and when I'm in there, I can't get out of them myself. But I think if you're in there, you're probably, you haven't hit a great shot. But then again, you do want a nice nice bunker to hit out of. Which we have challenges there in terms of drainage, and our bunkers need a lot of work for us to even be able to try and get them up to sort of standard. So it would be nice to have bunkers as nice as the turf is, but I think when you're limited staff, I think the bunkers are probably they're last on the list.
Sure. Very good, mate. Number 6. What is your opinion of green speeds?
Yeah, it's probably another one for us. We don't focus on massively. Our greens are pretty small. So, and a lot of them, it's very slopey here. So a lot of them are small, and they, within a couple of meters off the collar, we're dropping off as a dip off. So I think as long as, for us, our members are happy if we've got consistency out there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, our main focus is consistent, like healthy greens. I'm also a little bit limited to like how quick I can get them. Like we don't
Sure.
roll. We don't have a roller. So yeah, as long as they're consistent, our members are pretty happy.
Okay. Very good, mate. And the final one, number 7, and I always look forward to seeing what people suggest here. Which golf course, not your own, would you recommend people visit, and why? And this one's a bit of a paying it forward for people to learn and experience something else that you might have experienced yourself and you thought that was something that others should do, but you can't nominate your own golf course. So which one would you choose that you recommend people visit, and why?
I'm relatively new to golf. I've only kind of been playing since I started in the industry, so I actually haven't played at an interstate course. But in terms of around here, I think for obviously your main ones, your Grange, your Glenelg, Cooey, Royal Adelaide, they're all very nice. And Grange around Live Golf Time, that is very nice. But I'd probably go Tea Tree Gully.
Oh, a good nomination.
Yeah, so Benny's down at Tea Tree Gully. He's only 5 minutes from here, and I think they fly under the radar a little bit. His fairways and greens are as good as any. And yeah, it's just a nice layout. It's challenging. And yeah, Benny does a great job out there. So
awesome. Tea Tree Gully gets a nomination. Now correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't know Adelaide that well, but I do Google Earth a lot. Is that just sort of at the bottom of the Adelaide Hills before you come up the rise? Is that sort of it?
So if you, I don't know if you've looked at Highercombe on Google Earth.
Yeah.
You can literally just go over a little bit, and Tea Tree Gully is just so we're at the top of the hill,
and it's at the bottom.
He's just at the bottom of the hill.
Yeah. So just at the bottom before you do the rise up to get to where you are at Paracombe.
Yeah. So have you been to Tea Tree Plaza?
No, mate. I've never been out that way, but like I said, I've Google Earth a lot.
It's not. Adelaide's pretty small. Even people think that Highercombe's a long way away, but it's not.
It's 30 minutes out of Adelaide City, mate. I just did the Google search. It's not far.
Yeah, and it's one straight road. It's not that far, and everyone think I've contractors that come up from. I've got one in particular. He comes up from Glenelg, and he allows himself a long time to be on the road, and it's actually not that far. So,
mate, I live on the northern beaches of Sydney, mate. I can't get out of the beaches in half an hour. You guys can get out of Adelaide City in 30 minutes up in the hills. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So we've got a nomination of Tea Tree Gully Golf Club, mate. That's a great one. Thank you, Bailey.
You could probably throw Mount Osmond in there as well.
Oh,
I don't
and
know if
another
you've
one.
ever been up there.
Okay.
But yeah, they're just their views is amazing. That's sort of near where the freeway is. And some of their holes are on a clear day. You have a view it'd have to be almost the highest point you can get in the state. And you look over the city, and you can see you're almost higher than the planes when they're coming in. So that's always
Yeah,
Mount
because I
Osmond's
think
nice
do you fly over Mount Osmond when you come into Adelaide? I can't remember if you see it.
Depending what route, I think it depends what route you come in.
Yeah, okay.
Where you land, but yeah, potentially.
There you go, mate. Okay, so we'll take two. I'll put them in the show notes. We'll take two, a Tea Tree Gully and Mount Osmond as nominations for people to visit and experience. Mate, thank you very much, Bailey. Appreciate that those answers to Steve Super 7. Always a great start to go through some of those, and people will compare with themselves, mate. Really appreciate that. Now, Bailey, let's move on and turn the page physically as well as figuratively, or metaphorically, I should say. Now, mate, you're superintendent. You did touch on there that you haven't been in the industry a great length of time. So, and meeting you back in Adelaide, the Adelaide conference, the ASTMA conference a couple of years ago, was really nice. And you're essentially a young superintendent, mate. Take us to how did you get into greenkeeping? Take us back through your career, mate. Where did it start for you? How did you get into it? And how did you walk us through your path, how you got to become superintendent at Highercombe Golf Club there at Paracombe, just to the northeast of Adelaide? Please, mate, walk us through.
Yeah, so it's probably very unique compared to most you've had on.
These are the great stories. This is good. This is what we want to hear.
But yeah, so I finished school in 2018, and finished year 12. Wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. Like I originally wanted to join the police force, which is still something that's maybe a goal at some stage.
Sure.
And struggle. It was back then. It was pretty hard, and I'm not a good speller, and I really struggled with the spelling test.
Okay.
And I didn't pass that for the police force, and I was doing a bit of work with like a family friend, like through the football club, just doing fencing, like colorbond fencing and retaining walls, and in it for a couple of years, just in and out of a few, always full-time work, but a few different jobs. And I actually, it's strange how it worked, but on me and a group of, there would have been about 10 of us decided to go out and have a hit of golf.
Okay.
I'd never played golf before. So this was back in 2020. I'd never played golf before. We went to the driving range, and then we thought, we'll try and let's go. We went to the driving range, got inspired. Thought we'll go to a golf course. So we've rocked up at Highercombe. I think there was probably about 10 of us, and we had 2 sets of clubs. And all of us jumped on. I remember the pro at the time, Cam. He said, "Oh, how many holes do you want to play?" And we're like, "Oh, don't know." And he goes, "Oh, I'll charge you 9 and just see how you go." I reckon it probably took us 4 hours to play 9 holes. I couldn't even hit the ball, and the clubs are 100 meters up there, and you got to run and grab a club. And anyway, the way the story goes is the next week, I got a call from one of my old man's friends, and he said, "Oh, I don't know if you're interested, but one of my mates has just taken over a superintendent role at Highercombe Golf Club," and which is bizarre because I literally just played my first game of golf there.
Right.
So I knew the course, and I've always been into grass as a kid. Like I was always mowing a cricket pitch in the backyard, and me and my older brother were always playing cricket. I was always striping up the front lawn, and always had a passion for it. But I didn't really know you could do it as a job. To be honest, I had no idea. I'd never even looked into the industry. Like I honestly had no idea.
Just stone cold, had no clue that it was even a thing. And here you are, having played golf once on a real course, and then you get a call up.
Yeah, pretty much. Didn't even know you could do it as a career, and I wish I knew, because I probably wouldn't have finished year 12. To be honest, I probably would have finished up in year 10 or something and come straight into this. But yeah, I wish that's probably is a bit of an issue that I don't think the industry is promoted enough, and that's why what you're doing is good. Because I mean, in school I'd never heard of it. So
yeah. No, thank you. Yep.
Yeah. So when I got the call up, I thought, like, I didn't mind fencing, but it wasn't really what I wanted to do. So I thought I'll give this a go. And so yeah, pretty well. It was the middle of November. It's nearly 5 years ago to the day. Started here on a Wednesday. I think my first day, my first morning, I was learning how to cut greens.
Wow.
Thought, how good's this? And so pretty well how it happened is there was two staff here. They both left, and the golf club was left with nobody. So
Right.
me and the superintendent took over. He probably took over a week before me, so
Yep.
it was a complete clean slate.
Wow.
And yeah, we pretty well. I had to learn. I pretty much just had to learn everything, and I don't think if the circumstances were different, I probably wouldn't be where I am now. And he was the superintendent at the time that took over. He was sort of a little bit older, and we kind of worked together for 3 or 4 months. Started my study, and then the club was looking for another apprentice. And my best mate at the time, he was in a job that he wasn't enjoying. I said, "Look, do you want to come over and give it a go?" And he did. So for a year and a half, me and my best mate were the two apprentices here.
Wow.
Which was, yeah, that was a lot of fun.
That's
Um,
unreal. What was it like in that year and a half, especially maybe even the first couple of months, having the opportunity to be on every machine and get stuck into it, learn them? That's different. It's challenging, a bit of fun. What was that like?
yeah, it was different. We have a lot of we got a lot of that. We're lucky here. We've got a lot of Dad's Army. We've probably got there'd be about 10 or 12 of them that they volunteer their time every Tuesday and Thursday. And because we came in a clean slate. We didn't know anything. It was the middle of November. It was 40 degrees. We were getting dry patch on the greens. It was just like it was. Yeah, it was. We were literally thrown in the deep end, and we were lucky we had a lot of guys that knew how to run the watering system. Our watering system was very old, and outdated. There was a lot of irrigation leaks. Yeah, there was a lot of. So it was just the first few months was pretty much just trying to keep the greens alive and keep the golf course alive. And we had our machinery wasn't great as well. And yeah, credit to the club. They got us some not new machinery but new secondhand machinery, which made our life a lot easier. But it was in a time where there was a lot of change happening in the club. There was, I think the year before the club was in a bit of trouble, down to not many members, and a new committee came on, and it was a real change for the club. So it wasn't just what was happening in our greenkeeper shed. There was a lot happening upstairs as well, change wise. So it was good. We were very well supported, yeah, especially by the Dad's Army guys, which I've still got those guys here. There's one particular guy who, yeah, he's like the oracle of the golf course. He just knows everything and knows where every valve is and just knows. Which I don't know if that's a good thing for him, but it's almost I'm almost becoming him, which is not, I don't know if that's a good thing, but
But those sorts of people in a smaller club, a regional, I say regional, you're not far out of Adelaide, but it's still more in the countryside of feel. They are what helps these clubs of your size there at Highercombe just keep going and keep ticking. And when the chips are right down, they really rise to the occasion, and they do so much that goes unspoken of as well, don't they?
yeah, they do, and I definitely wouldn't be able to present the course like we do without them. They do a lot of jobs that we don't have time to do. But yeah, so basically, I think my mate probably started about 4 months in, and then so we were studying together. Then he sort of had his passions were really elsewhere. So when he left, we employed another casual, and by then I was nearly finished my apprenticeship. Like the club really wanted me to rush through.
Okay.
I was probably I was the long term plan for them. And the superintendent at the time was he was getting old. He's retired now, and yeah, it was rush me through. I was doing all mine online. I think I just instantly had a passion for it. Yeah, instantly. I'm very fussy, and probably very obvious from the start.
Attention to detail.
Yeah, and put in a lot of work in those first couple of years, and then I think I finished my study, and the super said to me at the time, he goes, "I'm probably going to drop back to 3 days a week. Like, do you want to take over?"
Wow, hang on. What year was this? This must have been when I met you, because you were super.
Well, it was so I would have. So did we meet? So that would have been August of
22. Was it 23?
23.
23.
So I officially took over in January of 23.
So it was 22, mate.
I was thinking, I couldn't even work out how long I'd been.
I don't, mate. The years have flown by. Maybe it was 23, Adelaide.
I just know I remember I started in COVID in 2020, because that actually worked out really well for us, because golf sort of, no one could play golf for a couple of weeks, but we could still work. So
yes,
it allowed us the whole course to work out a lot of challenges and work through a lot of things without having any golfer interruption. And then when COVID finished, we were booming. Golf really took off and really helped the club out. So we were. I remember, it was through COVID that I started. So I think it was January 23.
It sounds crazy. It was 23, mate, because Adelaide, I'm just going through my photos. The Adelaide conference was in June 23.
Yeah, so June. So when I met you, I was sort of very, very new to it all.
Yep.
Took over in 23.
Wow.
Midway, or not even midway, probably a few months in the super, or the old super, he pretty well retired, and then it was just me and a casual 3 days a week. And then we employed an apprentice, and I guess if I take a step back, when I first took over, I don't think I really knew what I was getting myself into, to be honest.
But you were interested, like you said, it was something that you really picked up and really got into during your apprenticeship to then take it over, and that's a different level that's a whole different ball game. Yeah,
and it was more the budgeting and the management side, and that the responsibility of that sort of. Well, the responsibility I was okay with, because I was always confident that I knew how to look after turf.
Yep.
That was never my issue. That's why I sort of jumped into it, because I knew I was pretty, and I have got a lot of good people around me. Sales reps. There's an irrigation shop that's 15 minutes down the road. They sponsor us, and I'd get irrigation leaks and just go, like, our pipe work is, like, some of our pipe is conduit. Like, it's insane. That's what we have under the ground. Right, just old PVCs and maybe even gal. Yeah, whatever was asbestos, whatever was donated. Yeah, right. Okay. Yep. So I dig up a leak, and still to this day, I've got no idea what it's going to be. And it's funny, like, you threw away that line just then, asbestos, and for people to understand, that's asbestos cement pipe work, and I had that at Katoomba as well. Lots of old clubs with old infrastructure still use their underground water infrastructure will still be in part asbestos cement, and it's there. It's old. It works, and until it blows out, like, it's going to stay there, right? Because you can't afford to go and replace main lines and all sorts of stuff until they stop working. It's quite remarkable how much old infrastructure is still in the ground in old golf courses. Yeah, exactly. And I would literally, in the early days, I'd sometimes just cut the length of pipe out. I'd just go into the irrigation shop and just go, what do I do with this? Yeah, sure, 100%. And that's just what I had to do, and I just learnt to lean on people around me and the experts, and I had a lot of help, and even just the basic things of learning fungicide names and just chemical names and what I need, and it's just a whole, when you have the responsibility of it, it's just a whole new ball game, and dealing with your sales reps and all that sort of stuff. That's probably what I didn't realise. How challenging that was going to be. And when I say challenging, like, people are good to deal with, but it's not as, you're no longer just rocking up to work and cutting the greens and then cutting the fairways. And that's it, right? That's all the other stuff outside the hands-on greenkeeping that comes with a superintendent's management role of looking after a golf course on the whole, isn't it? Yeah, and even like budgets, and I remember going to my first budget meeting. I'm just like, oh, like, how am I? yeah, it was. I just remember my brain just going, "Oh my God, how am I going to do this?" But yeah,
But you work through it. Like you said, you got support with people around you, and no doubt the club is also supporting you in the role too. So they're gonna.
yeah,
I assume they've helped you through that process as well.
yeah, they have, and it was, yeah, it was always, it was good because I was always confident in maintaining the turf. It was just the other stuff, and there's couple good people on the committee that that have been in management roles that I've lent on. Even at home, I got good people around me. And because it was completely new to me, I was 23 years old.
Wow.
Sorry, 22. I turned 23 in August. So yeah, I was 22 years old. And put into this management role. It's even, you rock up on a Tuesday, and I've got my two staff, and I've got 10 dads army, and I need to provide work for them for the whole day.
Yeah.
So which they're great to deal with, and I've got a great relationship with them. But it's not, like I said before, it's no longer just come and jump on a mower and put your headphones in and cut the greens.
Yep.
And it's more, and then the buck stops with you when anything happens. It's I don't know. Some people might be different, but I don't ever go on annual leave and put the phone down. It's always you're on annual leave and you're still working. I'm still controlling the irrigation system on my phone. I'm still, I just don't think you really get a break as compared to in another job where if you're a trader, you're closed for Christmas and you don't have to think about anything for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I feel like in a superintendent role, it's there's a lot to think about, but yeah, I've learned to delegate and learned a lot in 3 years, and grown a lot as a person as well.
Unreal, mate. If you that's a wild story, mate. Congratulations, actually, on your career, because that is an incredible story of someone who's come in young into and young and late at the same time. It sounds weird to say that in a roundabout way. I love how the golf bug bit you early with one crack at the driving range. And then you step up to the golf course, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're a greenkeeper. I mean, that in itself, those giant leaps in such a short space of time are pretty wild. I don't think I've ever heard anything like that. And it's an incredible story, mate. I just talk about standing tall. That is just. Have you ever seen the movie Walking Tall with The Rock?
I'm not a real movie guy.
I don't know, mate.
I'm not a real sit down guy, but
it just sounds like, because I know you like your AFL and you talked about helping out the local football club and on the ovals and stuff like that. But really, like, that is just a walking tall moment of just the steps you've made come from nowhere in, and now you're superintendent. You've been a super now for a couple of years, and you can explain through something in there that I'll throw in the middle as well. That I got from you when we touched base last year, I think it was, but. Mate, what a career, and congratulations. That is awesome, and it sounds like you're doing such a great job and continue to at Highercombe, because you're still going since you first got the role. But I want to mention to you, if you can explain to us, you did move away from Highercombe for a short period of time there, and I only know that because we touched base because I asked you to come on the pod and you weren't working there at the time. Tell us what that was all about and what you did.
So, I mean, last year was a very last summer was a very challenging year for me. So we basically ran out of water. We didn't run out as such, but we didn't have enough to water fairways. And that was, I don't know if you look on Google Earth, for some reason the back nine is green.
Yeah, and it's a split photo. Yeah,
and the front nine is of last summer, so which gives you a good indication of what happened to us last summer. So you can see the greens, and then on the front nine you can see the greens, and everything else is brown.
And there's one dam. Is it the far eastern one that's empty?
Yeah. So that's our top dam that's empty, and that was really challenging for me. I probably struggled to accept that what was happening, and because I'm very fussy, and to watch you don't really know how to put it to someone that's not a greenkeeper. It's it's like, I don't know, it's like a plumber trying to do plumbing and running out of pipe. Like, how do you it's?
But I know where you're going, and I'll see if I can try and explain something similar where you're essentially watching all your hard work slowly die.
exactly. And
over years. It's not days or weeks or one job. It's years.
yeah,
And that's a very, very tough thing to go through. It's like a farmer watching their crop die in front of their eyes. And for a farmer, that's money, right?
yeah,
That's their livelihood. That's their income. But as a greenkeeper, it's your passion. There's an emotional attachment. I liken it to if people were to lose their favorite pet or a pet that's a family. It is just, it's really hard to explain because it's not a living thing that like an animal or another person or anything like that, but it's a plant. I go back to farming. It's the only way I can put it. It's like a farmer watching their crop just die in front of their eyes. It's very, very hard to watch, go through, and also explain all at the same time.
yeah, it is. And a lot of people, I mean, I had good support. A lot of people just go, well, there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it. Like, it is what it is, which is true, but it's still, it's still trying to accept it. And which I did in the end. And, it was, that was one part of it. And just, I'd always been interested in the contracting side of it. And I was just struggling a little bit. I'd been coming to the same place, the same drive, 15 minutes from home, every day. And I mean, 4.5 years doesn't sound that long. But yeah, it was a lot of, I just felt like all I'd known was Highercombe.
Yep.
And I jumped into the super role and I just felt like I needed to try something different.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't enjoying coming to work, and so I went out with a contractor. They do, greens renovations, look after ovals, look after schools, a lot of variety. And I started that, did that for a couple of months, and I knew pretty early on that the golf course and golf course maintenance was where my passion lied. I didn't like the fact you go to an oval and you'd replace turf, and then you wouldn't come back, and you wouldn't see it. You wouldn't. I really, like, it sounds really stupid, but I miss my greens.
You miss your babies.
Yeah, and I really didn't. I thought, maybe this is not for me. And there was a lot of travel, which I thought which was tough. And I've also just another thing I do. I've also got my own contracting business.
Okay. That you do on the side?
Yeah, which is more of just a local thing, which is just, I've got a scarifier and, scarify people's lawns. And
a lot of greenkeepers do, a lot of superintendents I know have the same things. Yep.
Yeah, so, scarify people's lawns. You put fertilizer out for them, spray fungicides, spray wetting agents, all that sort of stuff. And just help people out. A lot of people were getting me around their house and, wanting, because everyone's into their lawns at the moment and wanting advice. And I'd have thought one day, like a year ago, I thought I could probably make something out of this. So I did, and it was pretty obvious to me pretty early on, come springtime, that I probably wouldn't be able to do the two, the new role and my own stuff.
Yep.
And yeah, the opportunity was to come back to Highercombe was there, and it wasn't ideal. It wasn't ideal for both parties the way it worked out, but it was, the opportunity for me was to come back. So yeah, I took it, and I'm glad I did, because I think if I never made that leap, I'd probably still be thinking, is this where I want to be? Is this where I want to be? But yeah, I'm very certain this is where I want to be now. So,
is it a case of not knowing what you've got sometimes? Well, I mean, if you've never, like you said, you only knew Highercombe. Is it a bit of a case of you know, to go away, you realise what you had and then you come back?
Yeah.
Is something along those lines? I'm not trying to tell you what your answer is, but is that what it felt like?
It is, and a lot of people, said, they're saying the grass isn't always greener on the other side, and which is true, but it wasn't, and it was never it's hard to explain, but yeah, it was never that I thought I had it bad at Highercombe. It was just more, I think if I never did it, I probably would have never known that this is, it made me more passionate about what I'm doing on the golf course, really.
There you go. So you come back even more passionate than what you got into it to begin with.
Yeah.
That's unreal. That's unreal.
And in the couple of months as well, I went to a few, through the contracting business, I went to a few golf courses, and I went to a few places, and it just opened my eyes massively. Like I'd go into a Group 1 golf course and see how things ran, and I'd just be like saying to myself, I can't believe, like I used to worry about things that they're not even worried about, and I've got 3 staff. I'm a country golf course, and they've got however many staff and all the equipment, and they're not even worrying about what I used to worry about. So yeah, it opened my eyes a lot.
That's really good, mate, to hear that a little bit of stepping away from what you knew and probably, like you say, what only thing that you knew, and you go out and learn. You basically learnt a lot more of other things by stepping out and then going back, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, but no, I'm very, very happy to be back here.
So how long have you been back?
I reckon it would have been maybe June.
Okay.
So yeah, it's been a fair, pretty much most of winter.
Yep.
So yeah, which I mean, we're still it feels like winter now. We're still.
Well, you just said that you're out on course at the moment recording, and it's raining. Is that right?
Yeah, it is. It's raining.
You guys need the rain. Adelaide, you normally traditionally get it. When do you get it? Through winter? Is that an Adelaide thing?
Yeah, so we do. We get So I rely on runoff to fill my dams up, and we do. We get a lot of rain in winter. But then I don't know. Talking to my nana the other day, she reckons that this is what it always used to be. We always used to get rain in November.
Okay.
But yeah, it's one of those things you seem to forget from. You always just remember your last season.
Mate, I tell you, talking to more elderly people that have been around sometimes is really fascinating to hear from their memories, because they've got a snapshot. We all of our information that's in front of our eyes all the time, and people that are in our own close-knit circles are short. They don't have the long-term information or memories, and it's hard to dig that up in modern ways through the internet and so on. So talking to old people, I find or elderly people, I find sometimes really fascinating. And it doesn't need to be anyone in the industry even. Like you said, just talking to your grandmother there, hearing some of those old things that they can remember or pick up on is sometimes quite valuable.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, it's one of those things Adelaide, we just don't really know what we're going to get from, year in, year out. It's different. Like this time last year, I'd been watering fairways for 2.5 months. Whereas now I haven't had to put a drop on anything. We had an inch of rain last week. I think we had an inch of rain the week before.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, it's been very unusual, but I'll never in my life complain about rain again, to be honest. So it used to be a pain in the ass. I used to hate getting wet, and I was putting on Monday I was fertilizing the fairways, and I had a hopper full of fertilizer on the back of the tractor, and I knew there was rain coming, and I thought, I think I'll be okay. And I got caught out on the furthest hole on the course in a hailstorm. And I don't know if you've ever had your hopper get wet when it's full of fertilizer.
It's not much fun.
No, so we had to tip it upside down, and it was about 100 kilos of fertilizer, and I didn't. I actually said to the apprentice, I said, I'm not even going to complain about this because it's rain. even though I'm soaking wet and our fertilizer's all been destroyed, I don't care because it's raining.
You'll take it whenever you can get it, right? Liquid gold.
Oh, exactly.
Liquid gold. It's mate. Like I go back to, congratulations on your career. It's a fantastic short career, and I don't mean that in a negative way. But it's really fascinating to hear your path and where you've come from to get to where you are today. Even that step away and then coming back, mate, to really reinvigorate your passion on the golf course side of things. And you're short. I just can't believe you. I had no idea you had such a short, I suppose, introduction into golf. You weren't playing it as a kid or anything like that, which is what I often hear for people that have got into it at a young age. So,
yeah, no, as a kid, I mean, I used to, my grandfather was always into it, and he watched it on TV, and I used to just think it was the most boring sport in the world. And now I love it, and I get to do my job, and I get to watch people play a sport that I'm interested, watch people play golf. So
yeah.
Then on the weekends, there was a stage there where I was playing, working all week. Cut greens on a Saturday morning, quickly get changed, meet my mate here, and we play Saturday, we play Sunday, back to work Monday. So there was a stage where I wasn't leaving the golf course, and I had to stop that pretty quick because it was pretty much been here all the time. I couldn't enjoy my golf because I was sometimes, we had to start going a few different courses just so I wasn't
it happens.
I think when you play, I think you see the course a lot better, and you seem to identify everything that's wrong with it, to be honest.
It's funny because you do. I used to like doing that, and I used to play quite a lot of golf when I was a superintendent, and I played a lot of golf growing up as a kid anyway. But I found it very helpful to play golf as a superintendent because you walk in different paths. Like when you're out there on the golf course, you've got your own routes that you use from a maintenance perspective, and you see things from different angles for a reason that works for your job. But sometimes you don't see it from the golf angle, which is often the order in which people walk, the way that they walk from a green to a tee or from a tee to a fairway. And you see that with the people you play with, but also when you play. And sometimes things don't even pop up in your eye. Like it's a really different way of looking at the same space. And I used to find it very helpful for me in my role.
Yeah, definitely. And I'd probably, some Sundays I'd play and I'd be planning my week as I'm playing, and just your odd jobs you've got to do here and there. And I also think, like I'm of the view that to be in this industry, I think it's really important that you're into golf. I don't think it's not, it doesn't, you don't have to be, but I think it's made me a lot better greenkeeper, because I can see it from both sides, and I can, if something's not up to standard and I'm playing golf, I can identify that. And when I'm having conversations with the captain and with golfers, I can relate to them a lot more. I think I have a lot more respect for me because I'm out here playing in the same conditions that they are. And so, we can have a conversation, and I just think for me, it's really important, that I do play golf.
There you go, mate. Very good. Good insight. Now, Bailey, after hearing about your career, let's dig a little bit into what Highercombe is. We've touched on a couple of things, and I'd like you, maybe, mate, if you don't mind, describing a little bit more about the site. You mentioned there you're up in the Adelaide Hills, just out the northeast of Adelaide City. Above, how high are you elevation-wise? Tell us a little bit about the site that the golf course is routed throughout, and any features that you know of the golf course that are worth talking about, mentioning.
So we're an 18-hole par 70, and we're right on the top of, which people in South Australia will understand. Right on the top of Anstey's Hill, which is there's a few walking tracks around, and it's a very, very windy road up to where we are. But I think the 18-hole par 70 just makes it sound like a normal golf course size-wise.
Yep.
But our whole site is massive.
It's very elongated, like stretched out, isn't it?
Yeah, it's almost like an L shape. It goes a long way to straight out one way, and then you should come straight back, and then you go, another way. Whereas if you look, a good comparison to do is on Google Earth, you can actually look just to see how different we are to most courses. You can, if you zoom out and you go down the hill to Tea Tree Gully, you can see there just like a nice square.
Yep.
And you can see 3 lines. And then you come here and it's very spread out. So we have probably one of our biggest challenges, and particularly this time of year, is it's just the areas we've got that aren't really part of the course, but we've got to maintain.
Okay.
There's some holes where you can spray the ball, you can slice it 50 metres to the left, and you still got a shot. Because we've just got so much open area that we have to look after as rough.
Yeah, okay.
And even some of the reps come up and just go, wow, like you've just got so much to look after. It's not the golf course. Like I've probably got room for another 3 or 4 holes. Like
wow, okay.
It's just that much. It's not really your traditional where
they're all packed into a specific rectangular space or a square type space or anything like that. It's an unusual shaped property.
Yeah, and you're not unlike there's a couple holes that run parallel, particularly on the front 9. But other than that, if you slice one, or if most courses you're on another fairway.
Yeah.
Here you're not. You could be anywhere really, and because we've got like our slopes are slopes are massive, so that can be a bit of an issue in summer, particularly when the rough dries off. Dies off is how far that ball will run.
Okay.
It's pretty much it's a different course in winter to what it is in summer. Guys are, there's one particular hole, on number 9, you're at the top of the hill, you're hitting a pitching wedge, and it's 180 meters. You just got that much roll. So yeah, that can give some challenges, but at the same time, it's so like I'm biased, but it is my favourite course to play. Like, it's just so unique. Like every hole is completely different.
That's awesome.
Like completely different. There's nothing that's you can go to a lot of flat courses and it's all you hit you drive and you hit your 3-wood and whereas we got a lot of, but it's not real long. So our par 4s are pretty short, but if you miss where you need to be, you can be in a world of trouble. So they're short, but they're not necessarily easy. So a lot of if you hit a good shot on a lot of our par 3s, you've got 100 meters. You got a wedge into the green. Which is good. So yeah, it's very very unique course.
So a bit undulating. And how far elevation wise, mate, are you above sea level? Because I mentioned you're up in the Adelaide Hills there.
I actually have no idea.
No idea. Oh, maybe we can work that out while we're chatting. Okay.
also, what I want to find out is, which I've been quizzing a few of those holder guys I was telling you about that know a lot of. I was quizzing them yesterday, trying to find out exactly how big the area is we maintain.
Okay.
So that's something else. Because I think the area we have to maintain outside of the course outside of your tees, greens, and fairways is a lot bigger than our actual course.
Yeah, okay. Then your shortcut grass. Yep.
Yeah, so we got guys. So 2 of our Dad's Army guys, they spend 8 hours on a Tuesday and a Thursday cutting rough. This time of year, it's just that our rough cutters are just about out all day, every day. And you cut something, and then 2 days later, it needs cutting again.
Wow.
At the moment, with the rain and sun we're getting, but no, it is. It's just different to a lot of places, and that's what I like about it. I think I've had to learn. I think particularly early on when I took over, I was you compare yourself to other golf courses, and you go to the conferences and you see all these things, and you're just like, oh shit, like am I doing it wrong? But yeah, I think it's very different, even climate wise, very different. Like we get, the temperature can be 5 degrees difference from the 15th to the 4th. Like it's so different. And we got low spots and spots where we get frost, spots where we don't. Like it's just very unique.
Well, there you go, mate. Your car park, while I'm hearing you describe all of the different parts of the golf course, your car park on Google Earth says that you are 399 metres above sea level.
Yeah, okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
400 metres up in the sky.
Yeah.
So it's pretty that's pretty good. And it gives you something different to no doubt that the climate will be different there than it will be in Adelaide and certainly other surrounding parts further to the west, down at sea level. So they're the things that you'll be dealing with slightly differently to others. And mate, it's very interesting to hear about it. Is there I don't even know, is the club very old?
Just look at my logo.
Maybe these are things we're asking questions.
1967.
Okay, there you go.
So I guess that'll tell you how old the greens are, because I don't think there's been, apart from a couple, there hasn't been much redevelopment done on them. But so it's reasonably
60 odd years.
Yeah, 60 odd years. So.
There you go, mate. Can you walk us through? We've got a bit of an idea. It's a bit of an undulating course. There's lots of different shaped property to what we would traditionally hear about and see and play with backwards and forwards type holes and things like that. Can you tell us a little bit about the grass types that you've got around the place? You mentioned, I think earlier, we know you've got bent grass greens, and is it Kikuyu fairways as well?
Yeah, so bent grass greens with plenty of pole in them. Which is something we're sort of working on now on controlling. Got fairways, kite, cooch. Some have got more cooch in than others.
A mix of warm season.
Yeah, a mix. And our tees are the same, mix of warm season. Cooch and kite. I think the third tee, we have no idea what it is. It's almost bent grass, to be honest. It's not right. But yeah,
Could be other local, like even fescues and things in there that just,
it goes off like bent grass. It can be
okay.
It can be one day, and then the next day it's just, so what the hell's happened here? So it's a lot of different, broadleaf tries to come in, but we spray that out, and we got a bit of paspalum that tries to come in, which I'm working on getting rid of that as well. But it's all it's all money. But yeah, our surfaces, what we've got, like I said before, like Kikuyu is perfect for us. Recovery on tees, and fairways. I think if when Kikuyu is managed properly, I think it's as good as any playing surface.
Certainly for a golf course, not knowing the variability, I should say, of the water supply that you have means that your fairways can hang on a lot more when you got. It is such a tough grass. I've always said for a long time that you could throw kike on the top of a concrete slab and it would survive. Like it's such a tough grass, and it's an extremely aggressive grass. It outcompetes a lot of everything else. But if you don't have the ability for water security to maintain any other type of pure surface, if you like, or monostand, it really does just naturally become the dominant grass, and it's just so strong when it's such when you have a long dry period of time as well. It can just hang.
Yeah, and I can't believe how it's come back this year, to be honest. After summer, like it was so dry. It was to the point where, I don't know if you know that smell when you're driving through in the middle of summer, you're driving through a paddock and that real dry grass smell.
Yes.
That's what the fairways. I'd be driving up the fairways and just be like smelling. They'd smell like a dry paddock.
Yep.
You
can almost taste the dust in your mouth, and it's just
Oh, so there was dust coming off the tires of the machinery in the fairway, and it was almost like they were just sitting there dormant.
It does. It just shuts down so well. Yeah. I say that about Cooches as well, but I find that Kikuyu, like I said, it's just a brutally tough grass, and it's a very coarse, aggressive grass. When it does get the right conditions, it'll go ballistic, and you don't even need to try hard, especially if you're fertilising it as well to get the coverage you want. It'll go berserk, and you'll have a great fairway. I mean, at the end of the day, you're trying to just produce a surface that people can play off. And again, my background as a superintendent on a golf course that didn't have the money or the ability or the budget to look after monostands or fairways of particular grass types, I know exactly where you're coming from. We just used to provide a good quality surface, whatever we were cutting. There was lots of different things that we were cutting, but we wanted to try and have it uniform at X height and just provide something that golfers could play off and enjoy. At the end of the day, it's golf, and you don't have the other things that in big teams and all the stuff that comes with a big club to do the wonderful looking, pictures that we see of our National Open and international events. But it's to provide a service for your membership to play off, and you'll just strive to do the best you can with what you've got, and it's often quite good.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the main thing. Like, you can do anything you wanted with this golf course if you had the budget. You do anything with any course if you had the budget.
Exactly, 100%.
Get to the point where you probably can't go to another level until you get that budget. So you maintain what you got, and if we can always when I first took over, one of our reps said to me, the main thing you got to do is you and your staff drive away on a Friday, and you say to yourself, this week we've done the best of our ability to present the course as best we can and get the course as playable as best we can for our members for the weekend. And that's what I try and live by.
Yep. And I always found as well, if you can, do any improvements, you're always trying to improve some small things along the way during your week of work or your month of that time of the year. You tick off those little things on your list, and so you're always improving as well. So you're always maintaining it the best you can for the membership, but then there's always the little things as well on your list that you've got. Everyone's got a list. Everyone's got a list.
Yeah.
And I know after nearly 10 years, I didn't finish my list because you're adding more to it as you go along. Yeah. But everyone's got a list. As you tick through others, you find new ones because you're looking at new things differently. But so you're always improving as well, mate. And that's what you do. That's what you do.
get a lot of feedback from your golfers, which adds to the list as well.
100%. All those things, mate. That's the role, isn't it? That's the superintendent's role, mate. What are your soil types like? I'm curious that you're growing grass in. They're heavy. Are they?
Some there's some fairways there's no soil at all.
By way of what? It's rock.
Just rock hard. Like the top of our second is rock hard. It's you can't. I'm talking in the middle of summer, even when you're irrigating, you can't even put a screwdriver in.
Wow. Okay.
It's that's probably the most challenging thing. It's just so different everywhere. Like every hole's different. Every green, like the soil can be different in one half of the green to what it is the other. And that's what sort of makes it so challenging because I haven't built the greens and haven't. I think if you build all your own greens with it, what sand profile, what you got. Ours is just a mixture of everything. When you're changing the holes and you take a plug out, you've got probably 10 different types of soil in that plug.
Wow.
It's one of the old guys. He seems to think like years ago, it could have potentially been a dumping site.
Okay.
We seem to dig up some very interesting things.
It's
very, very, very different wherever you sort of go.
There you go. Lots of little challenges, mate, that go into looking after a golf course and producing the turf surfaces that you do. Mate, I want you to tell us a little bit, Bailey, about your team. What sort of a team do you have looking after the golf course? You've touched on the volunteers and the Dad's Army, but within the paid staff, tell us who they are and what you've got to work with as a group.
So we've had a bit of change lately. So I've had a new apprentice come on board. He just started last Monday. So his name's Jude.
Wow, fresh as.
So very fresh. He's only 17, so he finished school 2 weeks ago on the Friday and started here on the Monday.
Wow.
I've got a casual Steve who he's here 3 days a week, which he's been here more frequently lately because there was the last 3 months there's only been two of us, which was a little challenging.
That's hard work, mate. I can tell you that.
So Steve's here 3 days. So two full time, myself and an apprentice.
Yep.
And Steve 3 days a week. So Steve he does a lot of mowing and a lot of stuff that it's not really. Sometimes it's not. I do have to do it a lot, but it's not beneficial for me to sit on a fairway mower all day. Sometimes.
Sure. Yeah.
So
or a rough cutter.
Yeah, rough cutters are. That's what I do when I need a break from everything. Jump on a rough cutter. It's a small team, but I think with what we got team wise, I think we do the best we can and have things as tight as possible and there's a fair bit of overtime there just to sometimes, especially this time of year because we have to just with the team we got. It's tough, especially when machinery breaks down and stuff. I don't have a mechanic or anything, so I've got a guy that I source from outside who he just comes and does our servicing.
Yep.
And everything. But anything major that needs fixing is you're calling in the guys that
the experts
the experts or I've got the same guy that knows everything else. He fixes a lot. The volunteer fixes a lot of stuff for me.
You just get it done however you can, mate. With your contacts, someone's going to know someone, and you just exhaust all those avenues you can. And it's hard work. These are the challenges in a small club, in a small golf course maintenance team, and led by yourself, the superintendent. You've got to work out how to navigate through all these challenges when they throw when you get a spanner thrown at your forehead and you go, why did that happen today? Not now.
Yeah.
Not
and
now.
It's always a Friday, and it's always that's also something when I took over I didn't realise how it's so time consuming. A small part breaks and I don't have a mechanic to ring up and order parts, and so I'm trying to find part numbers. I'm
going through the parts book. Yep.
Yeah, and which I was just doing before this. But for our fairway mower, which is fine, but it just takes. You don't plan for that at the start of the day.
Yeah, it might take you an hour out of your day, and you go, "Geez, I had my day packed, and now I've got to find another hour from somewhere."
And then you just get behind, and So it's so hard to plan a day on the golf course. But I've learned a lot about machinery, and become as good as I need to be at fixing machinery. Like I probably wasn't great when I first started, but I've just had to learn to just get done really, just to get the machines back out
Adapt.
there. And we don't have backup machines. So our fairway miles down, we don't cut fairways until we fix it.
It's hard. You know what? Like, there's going to be people listening to this, and I can guarantee you this right now. There's going to be people listening to this and go, if your fairway mile breaks down, what do you mean you don't cut fairways? Like, there's going to be golfers, there's going to be greenkeepers, and they just go, how does that work? Can't you just, what are you going to use? Like, you just go, well, we don't have anything else. Like, we would, if that, I remember when that happened to us, and I reminisce a bit when I talk to people. This is why I really do enjoy doing it as well, is I reminisce about my career that's long since gone. But we would go through those challenges. Well, we only have one fairway mile. So when it goes, if there's an engine failure or hydraulic failure or whatever it might be, if it was for too long, you'd have to go out with a surrounds mile, which you didn't want to flog it onto your fairway. So we would start to do the approaches on some of the bigger holes or the par threes only or whatever it might have been, drop the heights of the rough cutter and get that out there. We did that plenty of times as well, drop that down as low as it could go, and you're out there with the rough cutter cutting your fairways because there's no other way to cut. The rough's got to stop. We've just got to let that go, and we have to move that machine and drop the heights down and somehow just try and cut our fairways shorter. It doesn't matter how we do it. If that's what we've got to do, that's what we've got to do. Like, you just have to roll with the punches and adapt.
Yeah, and then we've had to do that a couple of times. You put your surrounds mower out there, and then your surrounds mower overheats because it doesn't like cutting fairways.
Yeah, and it does. It's a much bigger workload on a machine that's not meant for that. And like you said, you're not a small course. You're past 70. That's a big golf course. Lots of fairway space. And no doubt if you've got the room, then chances are your fairways are pretty big. All these things go with, being a superintendent or a greenkeeper at a small club without backup gear, without a big shed, without a big budget. You just got to keep adapting. And I think this is what makes you a much more well-rounded superintendent and greenkeeper, going through a club like Highercombe and working there. You're doing things a lot of other people don't do. They don't even get the experience of. And you talked about being the mechanic and going through parts. Well, there's people that won't even know how to look through a parts book.
Yeah, there's guys at these bigger courses that they don't even know how to adjust your reel to bed knife because they don't do it. Your mechanic does it.
And that's right. You know what? And that's a luxury. And they'll have a much more a much better set of skills in a different way, a more refined set of skills in a particular area. Like, there's so many things of either side of the spectrum that it gives you. It doesn't matter where. If you're in a big club, you get to learn a lot more in details in that. If you're in a smaller club like you are, you get to learn a lot more broader details in a lot more different things. But all of that is experience, and it all adds up to being a well-experienced individual when you go and experience different things. And as you move through your career, mate, you've got a long career ahead of you, depending on what you choose to do and where you choose to go, whatever it is. And Highercombe might be it as well, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's great to hear that you're going through all this stuff. And the more you get out and talk to other people and visit other courses, and maybe even, you might go and volunteer or work at a tournament, for example. And all these things help in what you learn and experience and make connections with. Mate, it's fantastic to hear what you're doing at Highercombe. I really am pleased to hear how it's all going for you in the club and how you're moving forward and learning every day, as well as being the superintendent just the same. We're always learning. Doesn't matter what level of greenkeeper you are at whatever golf course you're at. I think it's wonderful.
Yeah, and I think like I think I touched on it before. It was, being young, and I question myself and compare myself to other golf courses but it's no good doing that because we're so different here. Machinery, climate, everything. What works for me, what works for Benny at Teacher Gully down the hill might not work for me.
Sure.
And what I like, I talk to, I don't know if you know Benny, but I talk to him a bit down at Teacher Gully. Sometimes go down there and have a look around and I might just, even if I can just implement one little thing he's doing to help what I'm doing up here, and because I truly believe that Highercombe can go to the sky's the limit for this golf.
Absolutely.
But it's just hopefully golf keeps going in the direction it is, and Live Golf keeps making more young people into golf, and we can keep getting the revenue through, because it's all budget. So
No, mate, it is. And I don't know Ben down at Tea Tree Gully, but a shout out to Ben, obviously. You've mentioned him. He's someone that you look up to in your career, and you share ideas as a peer. It's always good to talk to different people. And we hear that a lot through these conversations as well, that a lot of superintendents do talk to others and lean on others at different times in their career as well, which is something you got to do to become a continue to improve and evolve as a turf manager. And you'll look at ideas, and I had this conversation recently with Craig out at Duntry League at Orange, that nothing is going to work from somewhere else and you transplant it to where you are, but an element of something else being done somewhere else can be that idea. You can look at something and see, and you go, I've not seen that before. What can I take from that? I'm interested to learn more about that, and can I adapt a part of that idea to where I am and what we're doing? And that's all you need. That's inspiration to improve. And it improves you as a manager. It improves your golf course and what you're trying to deliver to your membership and the visitors. And ultimately, Highercombe's getting better. It's improving. You're raising the bar. And like you said, the sky's the limit. You know in your heart of hearts what can be done there if you were given an endless budget. But you don't have that right now. So you'll implement things to create the steps to improve all the time. And I think that's the best way to look forward, is to do all the things that you've said that you're doing. It's fantastic. And I think Highercombe, with the support of the club with you, and the way that you're talking about your passion with the place and the golf course and the site and the uniqueness of it, which you've mentioned so many times, which is fantastic. Anyone who's in Adelaide, if you've not been to Highercombe, this is a shout out to go and experience it, see what it's like. You're getting rain at the moment, mate, which is great. So the course is coming out of winter into spring well. No doubt there's a nice green up and things are growing. Why not go and experience it now and see what it's all about? Try something different, or go back if you haven't been there for a while, because it sounds like it's really improving, mate, and you're doing a great job with your team and the club to do so. And I like to shout out, and that's why I want to talk to people like yourself at clubs that we might not have heard of, because I think there's great stories and there's great golf courses for people to experience and hear about, and go and take it all in. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, and I'm very, very lucky to have the team I've got, and the team at Dad's Army, and I like to look at it like that. Like we are a team. Like I'm very team orientated. Play team sport. Play football, coach football. So I'm very passionate about teams. So I sort of try and bring that into what I'm doing here, and if everyone in the team's happy, then we can do our jobs. So.
Absolutely. Mate, you always work better as a team, a well-oiled machine, and a team that's all passionate and rowing in the same direction, and everyone's on the same page, mate. It's brilliant. I want to ask you, for yourself, is there a particular favourite part of the golf course that you like, that you can share with us, that maybe other people don't know about, or it's a great place on the golf course that people do know about? I like the secret stuff that you go, you know what, this time of the day at this spot, not many people experience it, but it's really nice. You got anywhere?
Well, yeah, it's pretty nice here in the summer, in the evenings. As you would know, as super in the summer, it's you leave here at 2:00 and you're back here at 6:00, hand watering sometimes, and there's nothing better than when the sun is going down here in the evenings, but probably favourite spot is it's probably more of a hole.
Okay.
My favourite hole to play. So it's 15. If you do look on Google Earth, it's the hole that's on the corner like Answers. What road is that called? Lower North East Road and Highercombe Road. So it's a par 4, but it's a drivable green. So a young silly golfer like me that decides to take the green on and
over the corner.
Yeah. So if you go left, you're out of bounds. You're on the road.
Yep.
You're hitting a car if you're really unlucky. And same, if you go right, you're also hitting a car.
That's actually really wedged into that corner. That's on the far western end, isn't it?
And you can't see the green. So a perfect shot is you got to get it over the trees. And if you've got a good bounce, you're on the green. I probably only drove the green once or twice, but when you do, it's because everyone likes having a putt at an eagle, and so yeah, as a golfer, it's probably my favourite hole. But then also it's probably in terms of green surface, it's probably our best surface as well. And probably the green that's the kindest to me. In terms of disease and dry patch and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, that's probably my favourite sort of spot. And also I like the fourth hole, which is that's our furthest point on the course. It's also it's a unique hole, and it's you hit a good shot. You got a 60-meter wedge in, and it's also it's pretty peaceful out there because it's furthest sort of spot on the course. But yeah, it's probably anywhere you go here in the evenings is pretty nice. So
and you got vineyards all around you on the eastern part. Just looking at Google Earth.
Yeah, we do. So we got there's Highercombe Perry Winery over one side, and then Highercombe Winery
Mate,
side. So yeah, we that Highercombe Winery in particular, they're very kind to us in terms of sponsorship and helps they help us out a fair bit. So yeah, we've got a lot of good people around us, to be honest. With Simon Hoff, local contractor as well, that's sort of lives close to the golf course as well. Helps out a lot. It's a real community course, and I think the community recognise how important the golf course is to the community and to a lot of people that play here. So yeah, we're very lucky,
mate. And that's what's so good about these smaller clubs in regional areas. And like I said, mate, you're really selling the place. So I talked about it so far: the location of the course, the style of the course, the slopes and the undulations of the land, and now you're selling it with vineyards, mate, around there. There's a lot of reasons to go up and visit Highercombe and Highercombe in more broadly. It's a beautiful setting, and mate, I think it's fantastic. Like I said earlier, people should get up there and have a look, and you're getting great support from a lot of people and unique parts of the golf course that people can experience now that we've heard it from the inside, mate, of when they get in there and have a round of golf as well. Mate, I want to touch on before we finish up, because it's been great to talk to you, but a couple of years ago I did report there was a bit of work being done on course, one of your par threes. I can't remember which hole it was it 7 or 8 or something?
Yeah, right? It was 7. So
7. How's that going? How's it maturing as a new green? Is that what it was?
Yeah, it's new green, new tee. So we put 3-tier tees in. So we've got 3 levels of tees. It's been tough, to be honest. So it was built just before I took over.
Okay.
And yeah, it was pretty much built, and then it was here, look after this.
Yeah, wow, that's full on.
So yeah, it was tough, but I learned a lot from that. Like that 7th green. I mean, I joke, that 7th green nearly made me quit my job a couple of times.
Yeah, the babies will do that. They'll test you out.
Like we put we use spray on seed, and we use like the mache.
Yep.
And probably like 3 weeks in, the seed was all nice, but there would have been there's 2 gum trees that are next to the green, and there was probably 1,000 gum leaves all stuck in the mache.
Oh no!
Wherever there was a gum leaf, there was no seed coming.
A dead spot, yeah.
And one of the guys that I work with pretty closely, he said, I think you're gonna have to pull these leaves out by hand.
Oh, stop!
They wouldn't come out with a blower, and I'm going, you reckon? He goes, I reckon that's your only option. So yeah, me and my staff and a couple of Dad's Army guys, we spent a whole day there on hands and knees. And if I ever had a spare half an hour at the end of the day, I'd just go out there on my hands and knees and just pull these leaves out.
No way.
It's probably the best thing we did. Like the green just took off from there, and probably there was probably a bit of before the green was seeded, we had a massive. We had a wet winter. It was about 3 years ago, and the whole green got washed away, and they just threw the seed on top of it after it's washed away, and it wasn't ideal, and like the sand's probably. It's not ideal. It's not ideal for you expect if you do a new green, you probably you expect your soils to be a bit better than what they are, but it kind of is what it is now, and I've have to treat that different to to every other green. But yeah, I am I'm getting there with it. But yeah, there's some drainage issues, and there's the tee as well. Like I've had to replace the turf twice on the tee. We had drainage issues there as well. But yeah, we're getting on top of it now, and I've learned a lot from it. We've also had shade issues as well on the tee. So in winter, we would everything would just stop, and because it's a par 3, we were getting wear and tear, and absolutely no recovery.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, it's going well though. It's starting to. I've sort of learned how to treat it a bit different, and just drip feed it every month or so. I've backed it off now, but just try and get overall turf health, but yeah, it's coming along nicely.
Do you know, incidentally, I know you mentioned it was done before you'd started, but do you know what type of grass it was specifically that was used on the green?
So that's also something I can't really get an answer to.
Yeah, okay, there you go. That makes it a bit challenging too, right?
Yeah, blend of a couple. It could be,
but it is bent grass.
It's bent grass. It's
okay.
A blend. But yeah, it's a surface wise. It's really nice. Whereas our putting green that was redone in my first year here as an apprentice. And
okay.
Yeah, that's probably not great either. And I always struggle with that. But the 7th, the surface is really nice. Our putting green, just still struggling to get that density.
Okay.
But yeah, we're getting there. Once again, it's a learning curve. But yeah, it's. I mean, a lot of guys say it takes 3 or 4 years for a green to behave like the rest of your greens anyway when it's new. So yeah, just starting to get it to be consistent with the other greens on the course.
Mate, it's very good to hear, Bailey, that you're starting to get there. As time goes on, things mature. You work out what's the best way to look after some of these new areas and how you can improve in some of the shade things, some of the maturity and the fertility and all that sort of stuff that goes with it, mate. These are all the trials and tribulations of bringing in a new turf surface and a new green and tee, and also with your limited time as a turf manager, you're learning how to be better at that as well. And these are all the things that come with it. So, mate, it's great that you're passionate about it and doing what you're doing, and learning the way you're learning, mate, is good to hear. And I appreciate you sharing all the corners and the differences and the things that are going on at Highercombe, and great to be able to put it on the map for people listening if they're ever down in Adelaide, mate. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's been good to chat. I think for us it's important to try, and we've kind of at Highercombe we've got a reputation which has been really tough for us to shake. Which I mean, this I get people going, I'm not going to play at Highercombe. I said, well, how long since you've been there? And they go, 20 years ago.
There you go.
And it was a goat track. You hit the ball down the second fairway, and you straight down the middle, and you couldn't find it. I'm like, well, just do yourself a favour and give it a bit of a go. And it can be hard for you can get punished pretty badly for hitting a bad shot, which a lot of golfers don't like. But I mean, I think that's golf. But yeah, just encourage people to give it a go.
Mate, go back and saying it to everyone. Go and visit, experience something else, see what it's all about. It's always, I think it makes you a better, more well-rounded golfer if you go and experience different courses as well. And as we've talked about, mate, it's in a great part of Adelaide up there in the hills, and it's got some unique qualities about the golf course. Superintendent Bailey Wake, mate, I really do thank you greatly for coming on the podcast, sharing your stories about your career path, how you got into greenkeeping, and what you get at. You're a passionate person about it, which I love to hear, and also highlighting all the different parts of Highercombe as a golf club and a golf course, mate. It's been really fascinating to hear from you, someone different with a different background, and certainly putting a spotlight on yourself and Highercombe, mate. Thank you so much for coming on and joining me on John Deere Golf Keeper of the Greens. It's been great having you on, Bailey.
Thank you. I've really enjoyed it. It's it's great what you're doing for the industry and promoting promoting the industry, because I think that's important for us to keep moving forward as an industry. So thank you.
Mate, thank you so much. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Bailey Wake, Superintendent at Highercombe Golf Club in South Australia, just outside the metropolitan area of Adelaide. What a great chat that was. Bailey, just a big thank you to Bailey for jumping on the pod and opening up and talking about all sorts of different things there in his short career. And I say short career, of course, because he's got a long way to go, and he's only been working at Highercombe since about 2020, as you heard. So a great career path, great insight into his way of thinking, and I know that that's going to resonate. A lot of Bailey's story there will resonate with a lot of younger people out there. I've heard lots of different things. I've had many conversations with lots of different people in our industry, young people in our industry, and talking to Bailey was really interesting to hear. Hopefully that resonates with a number of you out there. And it was interesting to hear Bailey talk about how our industry doesn't really showcase itself enough, doesn't really put itself in front of the young people at schools thinking about career choices and career paths when they finish school. So he didn't even know it was a career opportunity until it basically come knocking on his door, essentially. And that's, look, we cry about, in our industry, we cry about a lack of labour. We cry about the fact that not many people are taking up the opportunities for apprenticeships and so on. And when our young people out there finishing school don't even know it's there as an option for a career, then that's going to make it even harder as well. So it was interesting hearing about that. Ladies and gentlemen, there's lots of clickables in the show notes as always. So please go down there and have a look and see. You can see different things you can click on and find some more information about. A big thank you to partners of the podcast to help me bring you Keeper of the Greens, and that is John Deere Golf. Check their website out for all sorts of things that they can help you with. Their wide range of machinery is available for you to check out, along with their Operations Centre Pro Golf on their website, and get in touch with your local rep from your local dealer to find out more about how they can help you look after your golf course better. Go to deere.com.au. That's DEERE.com.au. Ladies and gentlemen, you hit them clean, we'll keep them green, and I'll catch up with you very soon.